Big 12 games. Boy, this is going to test my vision. And 7 of them. All right. So, Paul, Craig, which one wants to go first? Because I'm the one that always follows it up with the right one.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we aren't like keeping super close track of this. This is as much an opportunity to give our opinion on who wins these games, but also cover every game, because we don't just sit there and like ride the winning teams 24/7. We want to cover the whole league and give everybody a little bit of time. So this is a way to do that and look at every single game each weekend.
All right.
So let's start off with the first game up on the docket. No Friday game. So got a pair of 11 a.m.s, and we'll start off with game down up in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Bearcats now 4-1, fresh off the big win over Iowa State. 10.5-point favorites at Nippert against 3-2 UCF, who is looking for their first Big 12 win. 11 o'clock kick on FS1. Paul, who do you have in this game?
I got Cincinnati big in this one. I think that they're rolling along really, really well, and there's no reason to think that. I'm curious to see what the quarterback situation is at UCF with Taven Jackson getting hurt again and Cam Fancher had to come in at the end of last week's game. So we'll see. UCF is a little further along than I thought they would be, but they clearly have good locker room vibes going on there. But Cincinnati, if you want to talk about good locker room vibes, they've got fantastic locker room vibes right now.
Yeah, they seem to be rolling along pretty well. Big win last week, boost them up. They play tough at home. And I think UCF, with the quarterback uncertainty, it's not even like, even if both guys were healthy, or all three they started the year off with, we had Ja'Cory Brown and Taven Jackson and Cam Fancher and all these guys, and they were all 100%. Give me Brendan Sorsby 10 times out of 10, twice on Sunday. Yeah. He's the driving force here, but I think Cincinnati, as I've said many times now, is a good all-around team. He's got good weapons around him, better than I thought during the offseason, and a really solid defense as well that holds up its end of the bargain. So I'm taking Cincinnati to keep it rolling. Smokey, what do you have here?
I'm not even. I always like I don't gamble because I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's legal for me to do that. I don't think it is in Texas, but maybe I can. But Cincinnati's a 10.5-point pick.
Depends on what you do, by the way. There's certain things
you doing daily fantasy, or are you doing like straight up like put me on the money line?
Remember, you got me on FanDuel.com when it first came out.
You can do that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But actually betting on this game, I can't do that with Underdog?
You could do higher or lower on Underdog.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, there's certain
all
things.
Right, okay. I'm taking Cincinnati.
All right, so we're all in favor of Cincinnati keeping it rolling and moving to 5-1. And if so, that would put them at 3-0 in the Big 12, so right there at the top of the heap with just half of a season to play, and that would bury UCF at 0-3 in the Big 12. So I do like where UCF is going, though. I want to make that very clear. I had my reservations about Scott Frost and just didn't really know what to think at Big 12 Media Days. But I do see that there's a vision there, and I think if you give it some time, it's already maybe off to a better start than you thought, but a lot of work to do, clearly. It's a situation that's moving forward, though, not backwards, unlike the situation in Chapel Hill. 11 a.m. as well, TNT, also HBO Max. You've got Oklahoma State, 1-4, 0-2 in the Big 12, hosting 4-1, 1-1 in the Big 12. Houston Cougars, the road team, and not even with a prolific offense by any means whatsoever, 14.5-point favorites. That might be tempting, and I'm not a gambler by any means, but that speaks to Oklahoma State more than anything else and kind of where they find themselves. So the Cowboys at home, double touchdown plus underdogs versus Willie Fritz and the Cougs coming off of their loss last week to Tech.
Okay, who is going to take the first snap at quarterback for Oklahoma State?
It's going to be a Wildcat.
That's as good of
that could be.
Might as well. Hell, why not?
As any, because all the injuries they have there. So yeah, that's why this line is so big. So yeah,
Sam Jackson and the Wildcat.
Yeah, I'll take Houston here. That might work for a minute, but again, there's not just a chalk ton of talent on Oklahoma State.
Right.
Houston's got better players right now.
And some of it's already been going into the portal here over the last few days. So yeah, I don't know, like that. And this is why I don't gamble, because I'm a total just dunce when it comes to it all, but 14.5 is a lot of points. And then again, Oklahoma State's really bad. So that's where you find yourself like torn, I suppose. I'm glad that I don't gamble and don't have to worry about those things, but I could see where that might be appealing because Houston doesn't score a lot of points, man. Like There is Wegman playing? Do we know, Garrett?
He was trending.
That's right. He's trending.
There's no point in rushing him out there for this game. Let
Agreed.
Zion Chris come, cook, get the dub, and then move on. I don't expect him to play, but just up in the air.
But when you struggle to score, and Zion Chris can give him a little bit at the same time, it's one of those you go up there, you don't think about it, you're not focused, and you play like crap, and you're down by 6 in the third quarter.
Zion Chris can turn the ball over, and that's where you can find yourself in a little bit of trouble. All right, so we're going Houston there on the road. 2:30 ESPN, number 22 Iowa State, now 5-1, 2-1 in the league at Colorado, who is 2-4 overall and looking for their first Big 12 win. They are 1-3. Iowa State, the road team, 2.5-point favorites in Boulder.
Yeah, that's a low number considering how much better they've been.
Who was talking about that? Was it Taylor that was talking about that game?
Yeah. And that probably just to do in large part to the cornerbacks and kickers issue right here. I'll still take Iowa State in this one.
Well, I'll tell you this. Taylor's been watching Colorado, and I commend him for that because I don't think everybody else is. If there's talking about how Colorado still can't run the football because they can run the football. And they're very sketchy in some other places. But, I think this is definitely a trap game for Iowa State. That maybe trap game's not the right word for it. But it definitely feels like they could be walking into another loss if they're not careful. I'll put it that way. I will give the benefit of the doubt, which doesn't always go my way, but I will give it to Iowa State in this situation coming off of a loss. And I think they know, this is an important game because you could find yourself really sliding if you lose a couple back-to-back in the conference. So I'll take them, but I am not at all going to be surprised if Colorado pulls off. I mean, they nearly beat BYU at home here recently.
They have flirted with leading.
They have.
Houston
They're not terrible. They're not terrible. They're mistake prone enough and not good enough in some areas to be a middle of the road team, like a lot of other Big 12 teams, which means you can win each game, you could lose each game. And so, either's on the table very much so in this one.
The number went from 4.5 to 2.5 for Iowa State, which is
I'm taking the Cyclones.
I'll take Iowa State only because of just the way they are. That what happened in the first half with Cincinnati was more about Cincinnati. I think that just the way the program is built, they won't get too high or too low. Although that was low last week, I think they win on the road. All
right, got 4 more, so we'll roll through this pretty quick. 2:30 on Fox, TCU at Kansas State. TCU 4-1, 1-1 in the Big 12. K-State 2-4, 1-2. TCU 1.5-point favorites in Manhattan.
This game's a lot closer by Vegas than I thought it would be.
TCU is not as good as some people are saying, is what I would say to that. And I think Kansas State had a really good showing last week that is encouraging. So I think that those two combinations of things lead you to having a game that is another Big 12 toss-up. I think TCU is a better team so far from what we've seen than Kansas State. But I don't think it's just obvious that, this is a win for the Frogs by any means.
No,
I'll take them to win this game, but I am very back and forth on it.
I agree with you. I think they're going to win the game. And the only reason I think they're going to win the game is because the way Kansas State is going right now, it seems like they will find a way to not win it more than TCU will find a way to win it. I don't want to take anything away from Baylor last week, but Kansas State got a field goal blocked, and that was kind of a little bit of Baylor found a way to win it.
Right before that.
Yeah, they threw a pick 6 right before it. They could have had Baylor on the sidelines going, how the hell did this happen at home? Instead, they get out by the hair of their chinny chin chin. So
K-State's won 3 of the last 4, but this is different.
This is a different K-State. I don't think things are right now. So until the vibes change a little bit, I got to go with TCU here. Now, granted, we're picking all favorites at this point, but we're giving our opinions. So 6:30 on Fox.
I don't know if they played in 22 when TCU had their special run, but Kansas State has mauled TCU over the last 4 games.
They played the championship.
I am going to take
championship game.
I'm going to take Chris Kleiman and the Wildcats to just kind of find a way.
Fair enough.
Right.
I'm rolling with Hoover and McAllister and Kendall Briles. I think has been calling some good games, especially last week. Got some praise from Sonny Dykes for what they did. But give me TCU. But total coin flip game here. All right, rolling down the stretch. 6:30 Fox, Kansas at number 9, Texas Tech in Lubbock. Red Raiders are 14.5-point favorites. I think Kansas can make this interesting, but I'm going with Texas Tech here. If this game were in Lawrence, I'd still probably pick Texas Tech, but I'd be far more inclined to look at the other side of the coin. But in Lubbock, I don't think a lot of teams are going to be good enough to roll in there and beat them on a Saturday night, much less. So, give me the Red Raiders going ahead and clinching bowl eligibility and moving to 3-0 in the league.
Yeah. When this game popped up this week, like I said it a couple times, Jalen Daniels is going to have to paint his opus.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have his best game.
No turnovers.
No turnovers. Yeah. Like the running backs have to have great games. The wide receivers have to have great games. The defense has to get stops that they haven't gotten all year in key spots. I think they'll keep it close for a while, but Kansas just seems to make mistakes in the worst spots.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and that's what'll get them against a team that is trending in the elite direction like Texas Tech is.
Expect Kansas to play really well in the first half. Remember the game with Missouri, but just not have enough in the tank in the end.
I think Kansas is – you're taking Tech, okay. I think Kansas is one of those right below the upper tier. Now, we had – who was it? Was it Taylor that said or Max that said, I got Texas Tech by themselves, and then the tier below that, and then there's the.
I think that was Taylor.
Okay, Taylor. Well, I've just had Tech in that group with Arizona State, Utah, and a couple of others. TCU has been kind of in and out of that, but I do think like Emmanuel Henderson's one of the best players that Texas Tech has faced up to this point. So him and Jalen Daniels, yeah, I think they can make some waves, but I'm still going to stick with the Red Raiders. All right, 2 more left. 7 p.m. ESPN2 on Saturday night. These next two, these are the big, could there be upsets that kind of up in the apple cart type of games. Number 18, BYU, 5-0, 2-0 in the league. At Arizona, 4-1, 1-1 in the league. BYU on the road, 2.5-point favorites, 7 p.m. ESPN2. I'm still going with BYU because, man, I'm telling you, I've watched them a lot this year, and I'm just so impressed by how well-rounded they are, and I'm very impressed by Bear Bachmeier's poise. Now, I also don't feel like they've really been – they were tested by Colorado, but I don't feel like they've really been in a dogfight for like 4 quarters. And I know that probably doesn't make sense because that Colorado game was so close, but I just think that Arizona's got the goods to be able to make this very interesting, especially when they don't have the backing of that home crowd, which is like probably worth a touchdown by itself up there in Provo. So – 2.5-point favorites as road team. I'll go with them. But
this game's in Arizona, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what the BYU is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said Provo.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm saying they are probably worth another touchdown when they play in Provo, but they're not playing in Provo.
I'm with you, Craig. Bear Bachmeier's a lot cleaner than most true freshmen should be. Although, like, he's not clean, but he's really impressive. And the defense, the special teams, they do all the little things well. And I think that's where they're going to win this game is just the little things. Arizona will probably, avail themselves well. I've been impressed by what Brent Brennan's done in year 2 there. But bottom line is here, BYU's just they're so clean all across the board.
Well, I will say,
except for some turnovers.
Yeah, I was going to say, except for a bunch of turnovers last week that were not very clean. And if there was anything Kalani Sitake was complaining about after the game, it was what they were not clean enough in a game that they won. But again, as we talked about on Monday, it was a game where you're glad you won it, and then you have things you can go point to and teach on. So that was like a benefit in a way that you weren't satisfied by that win by any means. But, yeah, this will be a challenge for them.
BYU thumped them last year in Provo, 41-19. I'm taking BYU.
All right, finally, 9:15 ESPN. Number 21, Arizona State, 4-1, 2-0 in the league. At Utah, 4-1, 1-1 in the league after that loss to Texas Tech. The Utes, 5.5-point favorites at home in Salt Lake City.
And that's gone up from 1.5. Like, that's a big jump.
So I don't feel great about picking all favorites, but I also think home field matters when you have a lot of teams where not much splits them.
Yeah.
So I know that goes against picking BYU to win on the road or TCU to win on the road or Iowa State to win on the road. But I do think it'll factor in here immensely in being in Salt Lake. And I think Arizona State's played with fire quite a bit already, which as a Sun Devil is your natural element. So not a big deal. But I do feel like they've played with some losses and gotten away with it, except for against Mississippi State, obviously. That line says something to me. I'm going Utah here in this game. I think defensively, they're obviously very, very good, but offensively, I think they're going to be able to get some points on the board against Arizona State, who does have a really good defense. But forget predictions for a second, okay? We kind of fall into this. I'm just looking forward to this game. Just watching it, regardless of what happens or if I'm right or wrong on it. I cannot wait to see this game because I have so many questions about both teams, and I love that we get to watch
answers?
this.
We may get answers, or we might get more questions after this. But I think this could be a hell of a game. I'm glad it's a late night game where it's probably not much else to keep me preoccupied.
I'm going with the Utes.
Wow,
Go with the Utes.
Yeah, last year 27-19 Sun Devils. And they have dominated the series between those, but it dates back from many years ago.
And this also isn't hey, we've had players on the roster for 5 straight years all playing each other. This is the portal era. So what happened last year may not mean jack squat when it comes to this year, but who are you taking?
Utah had won 4 straight prior to that. Golly.
Be the outsider. Go pick the Sun Devils to win on the road.
You know
Go
what?
ahead.
I'm going to pick the Sun Devils. My father, your grandfather, went to ASU to get his master's.